got a try and was one of the star performers. Again, Ryan Shaw grabbed himself a couple of tries, and 6 from 6 goal kicking is a very, very good goal kicker, is Ryan Shaw. One of the underrated aspects of this whole KR side, because he's up there at the top of with the rest in the league. For the Giants, I've not really seen enough from this game to know if it was just one off day away from home against a side who can have their moments, or whether it's a bit more of a worrying trend coming back in. But let's give them the benefit of the doubt and assume it was just an off night for them at this stage, because they have been in some decent form. Stats wise, Hull KR had small losses on both efficiency numbers, so that's tackle success rate and metres per carry, and it was a level 15 all high handling error count. Hull KR though were 7-2 winners in breaks and 6-2 winners in the try count. They also had 327 more metres, built hugely off 40 runs from dummy half, the highest by any side in a game this year. They show better discipline.
Can you spot Sean Luntz back in the team?
They show better discipline too, with a 6-10 penalty count in their favour. So yeah, basically controlling the tempo of the game out of dummy half seems to have been a big factor for the Robins. Individually, Ryan Shaw 2 tries, 129 metres, 2 clean breaks. Junior Vavai a try assist, 10 tackle balls, 127 metres, so he's richly earned that new deal. Rob Mulhern back into the side a bit more consistently now, and still going really well. 2 try assists and 107 metres, and Mossy Masso celebrating his new deal with 137 metres. For the Huddersfield side, there were a few decent performers. Jordan Rankin had 129 metres. I'm going to jump past this one and say Adam O'Brien, a try assist, 46 tackles, 19 marker tackles. That's an absolutely phenomenal number.
It's phenomenal in any game, but if you uprate it for the heat as well, and the conditions, then that's brilliant.
That backs up a lot of runs down the middle from dummy half though. Aaron Murphy with a try and 46 tackles, and I've circled back round to Michael Lawrence, who's been pushed up into the front row. Maybe that's one of the signifiers that Huddersfield needed to sign a prop.
Everything's a bit scratchy, yeah.
But he's been pushed up into the front row. His tackling stats from this game were 46 tackles, 11 marker tackles, no missed tackles. So that is an incredible effort. And like you say, in that kind of heat as well that we've been playing with. I know that the evening games are slightly better, but they're still kicking off at high 20s.
And I was going to say, and the heat is hanging around a bit more, isn't it?
Yeah.
And traditionally in this country, you get to sort of 7-8 o'clock and it does drop off a bit and it gets a bit cooler, but it's been bit more Mediterranean recently, that it has stayed around a bit later.
No, exactly. So well done to all those guys, and Mike Lawrence and Adam O'Brien in particular. Friday's televised game was St Helens versus Wakefield. Absolute thriller in the end. Looked like it might have been all gone at half time, 20-6 in favour of the home side St Helens, but it only just finished 34-30. Very scratchy, narrow, lucky win for the St Helens. 10,008 were on. James Child was the referee. I'm sure he will come into the fan reviews.
I'm sure he will. Wakey White said, I'm not even mad. Great effort from Wakefield to take the best team in the comp all the way on their own midden. Poor first half from the lads in terms of ball control, but they roared back in the second half to take the lead. Desperately unlucky to lose on the back of 3 or 4 50-50 calls against them. But if we play like that moving forward, we can go far. The Trin train is slowed but not stopped.
Carsten said 2 questionable decisions from the ref and an exciting finish are the main takes of the game. An error-ridden first half with a lead for Saints, which was followed by a remarkable comeback by Trinity, but Saints got it in the end. And for once, Ben Barber was just human.
Yeah, the most electrifying player in Super League dimmed for a bit. But Rainbowish said, gutted to see Wakey lose like that. I don't blame Childs and Failer, but missed a clear penalty try for Wakey and a double movement by Saints. Both not obvious on first viewing, but the better side. But to be the better side and lose again to the best team in the league due to these calls gets right on my tits. Never mind though, we go again. St
David said, how long can we be happy winning playing poorly? Castaway was the last time we really hit our straps. Barbara has been limping for a month. Richardson had a poor game and we generally looked out of sorts. Credit to Trin, who never folded and played nice rugby. Grace, Tomo, Roby and Tyre are best. Hull will beat us in 2 weeks if we don't pick up.
And Paul Mac _78 said, great game of footy, which was marred by 3 bad decisions which all went St Helens' way. Wakey had every reason to feel hard done by, but they made a lot of mistakes which you can't do against a team like Saints. St Helens' left attack has taken the title as Super League's golden edge. Big claim. Don't know how many metres Grace ran for, but think it would be a game high. Fita and Paulie caused problems, but Roby was my man of the match.
Brian Davies said, Trim showed what a good team they can be at times, but they have not yet developed the mental toughness to close out tight, important games against good sides. Expect Trim to upset some teams in the 8, as there will be no pressure on them, as they won't make the top 4.
What a game. What a game. This was just fantastic.
It was a great second half.
I thought the first half
was
good.
My favourite non-Wigan try of the whole season so far was Tom Johnston's first try in the first half. but no, because it did feel like the first half felt like it was a game that was going to be decided by the fact that Saints were going to deliver those touches of class, because that's what they did to get those tries in that, particularly the Johnny Lomax try, which was an important bounce back after the Johnson situation. But that, to me, it all felt like they were going to show these odd moments of class, and that would be enough, with neither team really performing at a high level, I thought. But in the second half, Wakey came out and absolutely smashed it.
Yeah, and to wrestle back the lead and then ultimately lose it. I mean, it was just an overall performance. I think this is one of the top games we've had, and I think this is the sort of game between these two sides that you'd be quite happy watching at the end of the season for either the playoffs or even the grand final.
I don't think Wakefield are going to get to the grand final.
I was trying for a mark ramp there, but I didn't get it.
I don't think Wakefield are going to get to the grand final, but I do think James Roby was outstanding for St Helens in this game. He was definitely pivotal for them, and that's another player backing up after Denver, and he played 80 minutes. Not quite 80 minutes actually. Bateman gave him 10-minute rest, didn't he? But
another one who did well was Luke Thompson. I mean, he's certainly for the Roby try, the setup that he did and pushing into the right place and getting that, he's tackling well as well. And after his extended holiday and tourist spot round Denver, he did well and showed no effects of the plane journey.
Talk
and
about
he did well.
Doing well on that Roby try. That Morgan Knowles offload that late offload by Knowles was brilliant. Roby was only there because he was getting ready for the play of the ball, but yeah. Roby's always there. It feels like
he has that absolute knack of any top hooker of being there, and you don't really notice them, and they've just popped up, and then if they're not there ready for a quick play of the ball, then he's jumping over for a try or making a scoot because he spotted a defender out of position.
Shall we briefly talk about Ben Barber? There was sort of a suggestion of a niggling injury, and he got a bit iced up, and Justin Holbrook said he did take a knock, and they were thinking about at half time whether to pull him off, and then things kind of got worse from there because he basically kept getting beaten to everything. There was the Jacob Miller jumping in.
Equally, Ben Barber doesn't strike me as the sort of character that if you say, Ben, you've got a knock, you're coming off, that he's going to listen to you. He's someone you have to physically drag off.
He didn't look well. Not just slightly hobbly. His face looked like... It looked like he had a summer cold. That's what it looked like to me. His face looked heavy.
Do you think he actually suffers from hay fever?
Possibly, and it's been a bad one for hay fever. And he certainly won't be attuned to our pollen necessarily, no. as it were. But no, his face did look, his eyelids looked really heavy, I thought, during that spell where he made a few errors.
I didn't notice that, but yeah.
Wasn't on top of his game. So I don't know if you have anything more to say about Barber. He had one moment in the first half where he kind of got involved with Percival, but that was really it.
He didn't really make my notebook this week, but he did sort of seem to have an odd go. I suppose he's someone that, because of his extreme value, in terms of what he brings to the side and the way he sets them up, that it's not an easy call to leave him out, so they're probably thinking, "I'll just get over this game and we'll give you a game off at some point."
Yeah, I suppose so. Kyle Wood did good things off the bench out of dummy half for Wakefield. He really got things speeded up, and of course they were dealing with a man down from early-ish on with Batchelor going off. I can't remember exactly when he went off, but that didn't help him from the interchange point of view. But if anything, it probably meant David Fafita spent a bit more time on the field, and he was really, really good too for them. He made a lot of ground. He made a lot of people miss, and it helps. It's so obvious how much space him and Paulie, both huge human beings, creates for that man coming out of dummy half, because the markers, the A defenders are reacting to the big blokes outside maybe a little bit, and also for the halfbacks. And if any of those forwards can get a passing move going like they did to get through for, I can't remember which was it. I think it must have been Hampshire's try that was kind of put through the hands of the forwards. I assume, because I can't remember it being one of the other ones. But yeah, that creates so much space because they're so big. You've got to...
Yeah. I think it's the Hampshire. I think it was the Hampshire try, because I've written about the support line that was run from Hampshire, and the fact that the team had made it for him.
Definitely. Interesting to see him at fullback and Finn back into the side for... Finn's goal kicking was not exemplary. I think.
Which given, don't forget, when he was at Featherstone, he didn't hold the record for most successful kicks in a row or something.
Jamie Ellis. But there was the Mason Caton Brown try. You couldn't get it much further out onto the touchline. What an incredible finish that was! I can't believe they sent it up a snow try and didn't trust that it got that one down, but that was a fantastic finish. And
if you watch that full speed though from those angles, I think there's enough doubt there. I can see why.
No, of course.
Why they've sent that up, but and again,
I was being a bit facetious. Yeah, no, of course it was like really narrowly finished effort. But Tom Johnson's second try, I thought, was a kickable one more so that Finn didn't get, and ultimately it was a factor as well that. I think one of the key things, maybe one of the overlooked things, is because Saints were managing to get that lead, Wakey, for all the penalties they won, didn't have the option to really kick for goal on any of them, and so they had to keep driving for more points. And when that kind of swung back around and they stopped getting the penalties, because they were getting a lot, it felt like they were getting all the penalties they got were all in that first 20 minutes of that second half. When they stopped getting that was when they would have been in a position to kick goals, whereas Saints had that luxury of kicking a goal earlier on, kind of overcoming a little bit of misconversions later on through doing that.
Yeah, another fantastic piece of finishing as well was the Regan Grace try. And his finish for that one was another brilliant one.
Well, yeah, but he also managed to step into touch and.
You have a real thing about Regan Grace, don't you?
I just think people credit him for all the great stuff he does. I think he could be incredible if he gets a bit more, if he makes more of the chances he gets. Do you know what? Tom Davies, similarly for Wigan, is missed a few chances lately. Unluckily, a couple of them where it's looked like actually he's scored when the photographs have come out after the game and stuff. But both the two of them, Tom Davies gets more credit for me because he works a lot harder in exit sets. I feel he takes more tough carries than Grace does, but.
Grace does a lot of returning the ball though. He does bring the ball back.
Only because people kick at him because he's not always that safe under it. I just think with Regan Grace, he scores some spectacular stuff, but he could be so much better. He could be doing more, and I want to see him get more consistency, and I want to stop seeing the ball get out to him and him end the play by doing something poor. But yeah, you're right. He did score a cracking try, and also he took great advantage of an opportunity for his second try too. So he is a quality kid. It's just. I just think There's more there yet. Sorry.
Fair enough. Anyway.